What's up, YouTubers? Back again, DB Bassin. Let's see what we got to talk about real quick today. Just a little quick little video. We're gonna talk a little bit about worms. Everybody want a worm. Okay, cool. So check it out. Worms are one of the number one lures that actually catch big giant bass. And over the years, we have discovered that straight tail worms, Senkos, we got trick worms, ribbon tail worms, you name it. We're going to talk about a few today. And you know my motto, you know what I bring to the channel. We're going to try to figure out how to do this thing without hurting your pocket. I'm talking about without killing your pocket. So we got a few baits right here, a few little worms that we're going to talk about real quick. But before we get into it, I want y'all to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, share some likes. Hey, leave me a comment in the bottom of what y'all want to talk about. I'm gonna be talking about a lot of different lures, but y'all leave me some comments so that we can, hey, talk about that thing, man. I want y'all to catch more bass, more big ones. That's what I want to see. I've had my share of catching. I've had my share of fishing, winning. I want to see y'all do it. So let's do this thing, man. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. All right. So one of the first worms I want to talk about is a Senko. We got a couple different sizes that I like to use, and a couple different colors. All right. First and foremost, we got one of my all-time go-tos is a 4-inch. And this 4-inch bait right here is called sweet potato pie. And it's a color that Strike King makes. It's a color that Bass Pro Shop makes. A few different brands actually make this color. This bag of baits probably costs, $4 or $5. Got plenty of them in it. Actually, this is a Bass Pro Shop brand. It's a Bass Pro Shop brand. Bass Pro Shop do not sponsor me. None of these people that I'm showing on these baits do not sponsor me. However, these are baits that I catch fish with, and that's simply it. So what we're going to do is talk about them so that y'all can start catching fish. And if you find a cheaper brand, matter of fact, Yum is one of the cheaper brands. Also, there's actual durable bait. Yum's probably costs $3 a bag. Of course, there's a few less in there. I don't even know if that's a phrase. A few less worms in the pack. However, Bass Pro Shop, it's probably double the worms in this Bass Pro Shop pack, maybe 20, and then Yum being, 10. And so it kind of breaks the price in half, but yet at the same time, Yum is probably going to be a cheaper pack. Now, Zoom have since then come out with, Senko, stick worm, cigar worm, whatever you want to call it, straight tail. But one of my go-tos is a 4-inch. All right, a couple different ways I rig this 4-inch real quick. One way, I don't know if y'all checked out my last video. If you did not check out the last video, go back and check out the last video. You're going to see a hook that I talk about in there called a spot remover magnum. That's a good hook that I use. And also, you can rig this thing a couple different ways. One of the ways is just to take a 2-aught Gamakatsu round hook or octopus hook or whatever you want to call it. It kind of looks like that. All right, that little thing that's sticking up on it is a weed guard. All right, what that weed guard does is kind of help you from keep getting hung, and you can throw this thing over some brush, grass, or whatever, right? So you take this worm and simple stuff, just stick that thing straight through the middle of that worm, just like so. You take it, see if I can just get you can see it real good. Take that hook and stick it right through the middle of that worm. Just like so. And the hook will come out and it'll look like this. It'll look just like that. All right. So what you want to do with that weed guard is kind of give it a little bend first before you put it behind the barb of the hook. When you give it a little bend, take the weed guard and press it down and then put it behind the hook barb. Just like so. And it's gonna kind of look like that. I hope you guys can see that. And it's gonna kind of look like that on a weed guard. Now what this does is when you throw that worm in there, notice it's doing this right here. When you throw that worm down in the water, that worm is going to hit the water. It's going to start sinking. And it's got this little fluttering sensation that actually does this in the water column. And bass just cannot stand this thing. They can't stand it. They will eat this thing like crazy. I take this color everywhere I go. It's just an all around good color. Got a couple bright colors in there, chartreuses, greens, and some of them even have red in it. And they just love it. They love it. This color is good. Bumblebee Swirl is another one. I buy that in a Yum. I buy that in the Yum brand. Some colors you can get in one brand and some colors you can't get in the other brand. So that's pretty much how I do it. All right, cool. That's one way to rig that one. Now, my other one is the larger Senko. This one right here is actually a Yum Senko. And this one actually 5 1/4 inch or something like that. But we typically call it a 5 inch instead of a 4 inch. Notice they have a little bit bigger body style on there. All right, like that. And remember the spot removal Magnum I talked about? I'll be probably rigging that 5 inch. You can also rig the 5 inch on the one I just showed you like that. Give it a little bit more action, a little bit bulkier bait, and typically sometimes catch bigger fish. However, I've caught giants on the 4 inch alone. All right, so you can hook that 5 inch up the same way you hook this one, wacky style. But I'm gonna show you another way to hook this one with the spot remover magnet. All right, cool. Jump right into it. So typically, for me, let's just say the bait is. Let's just say the bait is dark like this. Well, the base of it is dark, okay? And with the base of it being dark, I typically like a dark head on it. Now, just like these two would have this dark head. It's just me mentally. You know, you don't have to do that. Any color head will work. I just like to match it up like that. Sometimes color matters, but it's just me, conscious thing. You know, hey, look. You know, confidence is one of the biggest things in bass fishing. If you ain't got confidence in it, I'm gonna say don't throw it. So for me, mentally, confidence is what I go with. And that's why I chose to do, you know, dark colors on dark weights. All right, now if I had a green pumpkin, a watermelon, or something like that, some kind of candy red watermelon, I'm probably gonna put a green head on it or motor oil or something like that. Now, nevertheless, if I got red shad, anything that's kind of dark like that on either one side or both or swirled like that, I'll use a dark head. All right. Real quick with the spot removal. If you didn't watch the last video, go back and check it out. I'll talk. You hear me talk about this spot remover. All right. So anyway, you take this worm and screw it up on that screw lock on that spot remover, just like so. Now you can have the dark side down or the red side down. It really doesn't matter, but me personally, I kind of like the red side down, like that right there, to get that dark back of silhouette. And then you just take it and measure your hook like that right there. And then you take it and push that worm up. And you don't want to push that hook through, but you want to kind of just poke that worm like that so it'll be straight on the hook, just like that. That's how you kind of want it. You don't want to take it and push it through like a offset worm hook and push it through like that. You don't want that because you're gonna get hung up and stuff like that. So you want to make this thing weedless, and that's the good thing about this spot remover. You just pull it and poke it so that worm will be straight like that. All right, cool. That's another way to hook that up. All right. So now, before we get into this next worm, I want to talk a little bit about power bait. Power bait is one of my favorite baits. I've been fishing with power bait all my life, all my fishing life, rather. I used to fish with the 4 inch, but this particular worm is a ribbon tail worm. And just like I was talking about the color of the head and everything, what color I would use, let's just say this 7 inch ribbon tail or curl tail, whatever you want to call it, power worm. Actually, this is called motor oil. motor oil, and this is one of my favorite baits, and I won a lot of money on a motor oil. All right, so check this out. Same thing with that spot remover. Now, sometimes this worm will come with that little bitty piece of plastic on the top. You see a little bitty piece of plastic? And that just come out the mold. When the mold is opened up and the worm pull, and they pull it apart, sometimes that's on there. All right, so what you want to do is take that little piece of plastic, just in the power bait worms. I mean, I've seen it in all different kind of brands of worms. Sometimes that mold just don't take that off. Well, anyway, you just take it and pinch it off. Simple. So you want your worm like that. All right, you throw that away, and you take that spot remover and do the same thing and fish this worm right here. All right. Remember, I said I like dark colors on that dark head. On this color right here is kind of light. You see that? It's like a green pumpkin or pumpkin seed, whatever you want to call it. But the name of this one is motor oil. And this worm actually changed colors in the water column. It is not this color, this brown looking color that it is right here in my hand. Remember, every time you throw a bait in the water, the bait actually changes colors. The water changes the color of the bait. You do not see what you see right here with your natural eye in the water. This bait is actually going to change colors in the water. Every bait does that. This is why color patterns are very critical to choose when you choose them right. You got to choose them right, because know that what you see with your eyes here is probably not what the fish going to see in the water. So that's going to change it. All right. So anyway, here's a green one. See, green. That's kind of what I'm trying to get, where I'm getting at. You see, lighter color green, lighter color green. And basically you rig it up the same way. Let's do this again real quick. Screw that on there. All right, screw that thing on there. All right, and again, now notice this worm's a little bit thinner than the 5-inch Senko. All right, so what you want to do is be very careful and be mindful that this worm is thinner, and it'll just, you'll just poke it the same kind of way, just like that, pick it up and poke it, and leave that worm straight, just like that. You don't want that hook to come all the way through that worm. Again, you want that worm to be just like that. You want it to look just like that. You want to keep it straight, just like that. All right, with that spot remover. All right, cool. Now we got that out the way. Now, I got one more worm right here. And in order for y'all to see this worm right here, what I need y'all to do is tune in on the next video. I want y'all to hit that subscribe button, and I promise you, you won't want to miss that next video on this next worm. And it's going to be a trick worm setup. Is one of my favorite tricks to do with my spinning reel. And I'm going to show y'all how to set that up, show y'all how to do a little secret with it, and start catching more bass. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, share that thing, like that thing. Hey, man, leave me a comment, but you won't want to miss that next video that I got coming up on that other worm, that trick worm, and some styles that I got for it.